So very much. I came in late. I thought I would give the opportunity to sit down and stay. But be as it may, let me comment the committee. I had the opportunity to appear before them. The seriousness with which they approached the tax given them, the fact that they were accommodating, even if you spoke nonsense, they pretended to be interested in it. and then they have produced a report that is very novel and far-reaching. Might have very important consequences for our democracy. Looks like it's trying to transfer power directly to the people or manifest the people's power at the grassroots. Almost everything we have seen before. I mean, even though I'm not persuaded by 2 or 3 things, but almost everything that is contained in the report we have seen before. You remember on this platform, 3 of us presented our case for constitutional review. And if you go and look at my paper, my case for constitutional review, most of the things contained in the report are in it. Now, so there's somehow some broad consensus that we need, and like you took the inspiration from the first attempt at constitutional review to move our constitution from a political constitution to a development constitution.
That was the Fiajo report. So they say they are transforming Ghana and from an electoral democracy to developmental democracy.
And to be able to do that, you need to tweak certain processes, certain institutions. I mean, to get to that. You know, I always say that the promise in our Constitution, and particularly the directive principle, no, not directive, the preamble of the Constitution, the promise of equality of opportunity, can never be delivered if the institutions that have been created to support the delivery of that promise are weak and not fit for purpose. And I see what they're trying to do is to make those institutions responsible and accountable. I mean, that require that we, the people of Ghana, become good citizens, invest in the process, contribute to making it a reality so that we can live under the benefit and promise of the Constitution. It's very important. And again, let me say that when I read that the NPP had formed a committee to look at the recommendations, I was encouraged. Because again, you are seeing that it appears to me that what we had always hoped for is coming to pass. That we have a bipartisan consensus on what should be done to our Constitution. Because, you know, that was what afflicted Chairman Sebonsu's Constitutional Review Consultative Committee. We had told him that the driver of a constitutional review exercise should be the executive. But under Nana Akufo-Addo, it appeared that he was patently uninterested in the process. Of course, and he manifested his position in his last State of the Nation address, also when he said that we should hasten slowly on the review of the Constitution. And so, even though Clara...
But Chief Mensah was serving at the pleasure of Akufo-Addo. And eventually when the report was done, and I know because you were part of it from beginning to end through to the consultations in Parliament and to going out of Accra, you were part of the process. And on the day of the presentation, he still did not hide his reservations about this attempt at a holistic, review, like change the whole constitution. But he took the report and then he submitted it to President Mahama and said, this is work to be done. So he ought to be commended for that.
Yes. I'm not commending for that. But you didn't show, he was not overly enthusiastic in that whole exercise. And that was our problem. I mean, you were there too. That was our problem.
That's correct.
Baka, you were there. That was our problem. So we were always battling. I remember Baka saying that the Supreme Court decisions should guide our approach to this exercise and that it is within the preserve of Parliament to do those changes. This was the debate.
So this committee has partly answered that question, even though it was driven by the executive. And the Supreme Court has confirmed in the suit Professor Azar took against the Fiajo report that the executive can initiate it. They still said, even though we've been given this job and we can call a conference and go ahead with it, we want legitimacy. So they still went across the country and brought all who needed to be heard on the matter.
When I was listening to Prof. and Charlotte, and I said, "Oh, that was a very good interpretation of your instrument of appointment." That look, when you said engage stakeholders, who are the stakeholders? The people of Ghana, and so you needed to be added them with your appointors. When you went back and told them, "Look, this exercise will entail consulting with the people of Ghana," and you were given the go-ahead. I mean, that was a brilliant one and a smart one. Yes, but I have reservations. The first reservation, I'm not entirely convinced that we need to extend the term of the presidency. Now, and it's not new. Your suggestion, recommendation is not new. The first time it made it into our national discourse when it was on the 5th day of January 2009, when His Excellency John Ajekum Kufuor delivered his final State of the Nation address to Parliament. He cited Singapore and Malaysia. He said because of the long stay, the duration of governance, that's why probably that catalyzed the growth of and development of their countries. And he also, in informal discussions during the Constitution Review Consultative Committee, said that it takes about a year to form a government to settle. And then in the last year of your tenure or 4-year tenure, you have to go campaign, especially if you are due for re-election. And so effectively you have 2 years. And he felt that 2 years is not just enough to develop a country and put in place all your policies. I said, well, that's a good explanation. But why don't we inject efficiency into the way we govern?
Get a lot more practical with us, because we're hearing people who are saying they are not for an extension from 4 to 5 years. Dr. Nyaho Tamakolo just issued a statement joining, those who are against the 5 years. I want to hear why not 5 years. We know the reasons for the 5 years. So why not?
Because we can do it more efficiently. And why 5 years?
You have just given the reasons. Kufuor gave those reasons.
No,
they haven't changed.
Kufuor gave those reasons, but we have also known, and the Constitution Review Committee also gave reasons. I mean, emerging norm, emerging global norm, and
that's right.
And then probably took inspiration from Kenya and maybe South Africa. But where do we have to go? I think 4 years is enough to hold our people and our elected representatives accountable. And John Dramani Mahama has demonstrated that. Clearly, in this term of his presidency, he's shown that you can set up your government in less than 3 months. You can do that and get the government running. In fact, he's also shown that you can achieve significant success in your first year in government. So that goes to dispel what President Kufuor said in 2009.
Your people are already undercutting him, trying to shoot ahead of themselves to, who will become the next president or flag bearer of the NDC.
The Constitution Review Committee has put it beyond doubt that he is not going to be a beneficiary of the process.
No, I'm talking about the question of getting to a point of rendering him a lame duck, and then everybody is trying to do something, so you barely have time to govern. Well, the people you are going to use.
Kufuor showed that if you don't want to be a lame duck, you wouldn't be. When he sacked all those who were campaigning to succeed him, he sacked them. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama must take a leave.
Okay. All right. So we take note of that concern of yours about the extension